Hi everyone, I'm Council President Pro Tem and Chair of the City Council Environment Committee, Joe LaCava. I have the honor of representing District 1, which includes right here, the northeastern portion of Mission Bay. I've invited Dick Norris, professor at Scripps Institution of Oceanography at UC San Diego, and we're here today overlooking the district's wetlands at Kendall Marsh. As you've noticed over the recent years, extremely high tides, otherwise known as king tides, are gathering more attention in our region. Generally speaking, king tide is used to describe the highest tides of the year, and that generally occurs about 3 or 4 times a year. When the sun and the moon are perfectly aligned, there can be significant impacts on our coastline. Rising seas mean higher tides, and with higher tides that reach king tide levels, the ocean and bay waters are significantly closer to shore, reducing our sandy beaches and threatening our coastal bluffs. This also impacts our recreational opportunities as well as both public and private infrastructure. If those king tides are coupled with a storm surge, we will once again have the destruction that we saw earlier this month. We need a strong response to the changing nature of king tide events. As we see more and more of these abnormally high tides, we must implement adaptation strategies in advance. Thankfully, there are solutions, eco-friendly solutions, right here with our wetlands. Wetlands play a valuable role in naturally regulating sea level rise and protecting the upland areas where we have our homes, our roads, and our parks. The wetlands here at Kendall Frost and at De Anza are extremely important to our quality of life and our city's resiliency. For this reason, it's critical to protect and expand them at every possible opportunity. I'd like to invite my good friend Dick to emphasize the importance of our regional wetlands. Dick?
Thanks, Joe. I'm Dick Norris. I'm the professor at University of California, San Diego, Scripps Institution of Oceanography, and I'm also the director of the Kendall Frost Mission Bay Marsh, which is what you see around you. And behind me, you can see the high tides. We're in a king tide situation, which is about 7 feet above normal high tide. And this is going to become, of course, increasingly common, as Joe says. And so the question is, what is our response to that? Now, in about 60 to 80 years, we expect to have roughly double the high tide that we see here, say maybe another 3 to 5 to 7 feet of additional sea level rise. And that means that Joe and I standing here will be wearing hip waders instead of walking around in our usual shoes. We have to plan, of course, for that future high tide. And the key point will be that the infrastructure that we build now, we expect to last 50 to 60 years at least. And therefore, the future high tides will become increasingly important in terms of how we do coastal development. The marshes are also valuable for a variety of things. One is that they intercept the storm surges that come in here and reduce the amount of coastal flooding that we'll have in the future. They also provide economic returns to the overall community because they provide fisheries, for example. Larval fish grow up out in the marsh. And then probably the biggest single one is the real estate return to everybody here in Southern Pacific Beach because of the presence of an active marsh out here that is a sort of a different kind of coastline for people to enjoy. And you can imagine, for example, in the future, boardwalks through this area where you can go out and walk your dog around Mission Bay and go bird watching or whatever, to open up the coastline for all of us. So that's in our future, I hope. And just keep in mind that in the future, we're going to have to deal with much higher sea level rise and that we should plan for that right now. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Dick. The nature-based solution to combating king tide events lies within our wetlands, as the first line of defense in protecting our coastline and our coastal infrastructure. The more we preserve our wetlands, the more resilient our region will be to rising tides. Let's work together to protect our coastline and our city's coastal future. Thank you.